Bow down before my psycho power.
My name is Cedric. I have been the person behind EWGF.GG. Fun fact, EWGF is actually going to be turning one next month. Overall, I'm just very happy with the reception of the website. I'm glad that everybody finds use for it. Anytime people are talking smack on Reddit or Twitter, it's great to see people pull up their stats and be like, damn, bro, this you? Fujin after 5,000 matches?
What made you want to create this?
For reference, I'm a university student. I had just finished, I think, my second software engineering internship. I wanted a project that was going to be non-trivial. One of the things they say on your resume is to do projects, do this. Most of the time people will do like the bare minimum and be like, "Oh guys, look, I created a to-do app and that'll go well." And I just wanted something that was really going to challenge me as well as distill everything that I had like learned from like previous internships from school. The guy who actually used to make State of Tekken 8 Reddit posts, his Reddit handle is like not quite factual.
Yeah.
His posts were the ones that actually inspired the whole thing because I was like, well, he has to be getting the data from somewhere. And if he's getting the data from somewhere, I'm sure as an unemployed college student with a bunch of free time, I could probably make a website so that people don't have to, wait every month to see statistics.
As the person who's collecting all this data, is there anything that you would like to say about your findings?
The stats from the version one of the website, one of the big issues with them was the inclusion of mirror matches. And at
Oh,
first, I thought that it wouldn't affect the statistics that much. In my head, I was like, oh, well, one win versus equals one loss. But what ends up happening is that the win rates themselves end up becoming flat. If you have a character, especially if the character is popular, it's like a character like Kazuya or King or Armor King, it ends up averaging out towards the 50% mark. Characters that have a higher than 50% win rate end up trending lower than what they're supposed to because of the averaging effect that it has. And characters who are worse end up showing up better or coming up as a higher win rate percentage. So that would be, I guess, like the first thing. The second thing is that there's still many variables that are in play. Like obviously stats are nice to look at and they're great to give you like, I guess, like a quick glance, but there's so many other factors that go into a character's skill expression, who's piloting the character. Obviously, the greatest example of this, and this one seems to be pretty well understood by the community as a whole. Like, for example, Kuma and Panda aren't really used that much on the ladder, but they have the highest win rate. Naturally, you'd think, oh, Kuma must be busted because he has consistently the highest win rate. But like, that's not necessarily true. It's just that many people don't have exposure to Kuma because nobody plays Kuma. He has like I think it's just a less than 1% of a pick rate compared to all the other characters when everybody else is like averaging around like 1.5. And actually, one thing that I wanted to stress
mhm.
is that, for example, like the Tekken servers regions are not as accurate as you'd be led to believe. I see it come up occasionally where some people are marked in a different region. For example, like Africa doesn't exist at all. It just goes based on whatever language your computer is set to, which obviously is just
Oh,
not a thing. The creator of the Weivu Wank
yeah.
had their own process for like putting people in their respective regions, and that's what I follow when categorizing new players.
I see a question in the chat. Someone said, where does statistics come from? So, like, how do you get it from wherever you get it and then to the website?
Anything that has to do with rank statistics comes straight from Weifu Wank because their API is a bit more stable.
Well, I think pros probably use Weivu Wink more because pros do more head-to-head battles and they're more so looking at an individual person. Like I'm not sure
Mhm,
if you're familiar with who Joe Button is. He's a rising streamer, but he does a lot of
mhm.
like head-to-heads and he's pulling up people's Weivu Wink all the time. But I think
Yeah.
this website that you created is more so for like players who are looking generally at it and trying
Mhm.
to get a big picture. So both websites are great for different reasons. Like they do different things.
One of the things that people have asked for, be able to see your current Weivu rank, the 2096 and the 1311. His MMR system is based off of a chess MMR system. It's known to be pretty reliable.
Is Tekken's MMR inflated? Are they trying to like give people higher MMRs than what they actually have? What's the problem there? there?
The problem with it is that it just doesn't do a good job of measuring what your skill is. Sometimes, you'll get matched with people who are, way under your skill level.
Is that not because of not that many players online?
It definitely could be because of that, but the fact that this was still an issue at like the height of its popularity, which was, when Tekken 8 was released, that leads me to believe that it might not just be like a player availability problem. The statistics themselves all come directly from the recent replays tab.
Yeah.
Essentially, my server grabs all of that data and then processes it, and that's how you're able to see your match history and basically everybody's match history as well.
So for my stats, you see how it has this stat pentagon? There was another website that was able to show a stat pentagon, but not for the player, for the character, like the average. Is that something that's possible?
It can be done. The main issue with it is that whenever you're making a request to another website, that processes something called an asynchronous request, meaning the computer can be doing other things in the background while it waits for the data that it's requesting for to come back. With Tekken does not allow you to make asynchronous calls. I am only allowed to get everybody's data one at a time. So if you were to make a request for your data right now, and two other people were going to go and make other requests for their data, they would be in line after you, which is very slow. In order to circumvent that, the only way to get the data where it's like, oh, I'm going to go and see like what the average like attack and defense and throw escape of Armored King mains are, that data wouldn't be something that's updating all the time. It would have to update like every 2 or 3 days.
For example, like right here at the top, you could put like a disclaimer, this stat updates every month on the 1st. So one website that had it, I was making a video and I was like roasting all the King mains because their throw breaking was terrible and they're supposed to be the throwers. Even if the stats can't be like immediate, like I still think a lot of people would
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I can definitely do. I can probably bunch that in. I have a new update coming for the website.
Nice.
It's going to be like a small one, mostly to the player profiles. It should be able, one of the big features that I know people were really anticipating seeing was being able to see your Steam profile, as well as seeing your profile, your in-game like profile message, as well as getting it translated for other people in other countries. That would be the next, I guess, like priorities. And also fixing the activity. Right now it's showing weekly when it's supposed to be showing daily. And I also want some kind of way to differentiate between players that are playing ranked and players that are playing unranked.
Quick side note, what about Tekken ball statistics? Is that like not worth it for you, or is that something you didn't consider?
I haven't considered it. I've had a few people ask me like, oh, you should get Tekken ball statistics. There's so many things that I want to work on, and
yeah,
I want the website to be in as many people's hands or as available to as many people as I can be first, which is why, like, for example, like translation is one thing that I'm really, really hoping for, especially because, like, Tekken is very famous in Pakistan, in France, and many other countries where the primary language is not English. So
yeah.
I'd want to do that as well.
Another question, for the recent active players, they were asking for separations between PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Is that something that you can do where you can like divvy up win rates, character usage data, active players? Can you divvy up that stuff by platforms?
Yeah, I can do that. That's going to be rolled in with the next update. It'll probably take some time to get everybody's platform up to date. I already have like the infrastructure set up to differentiate people's based on their platform. It's just a matter of like getting the data efficiently and also making sure that the website still loads, super fast. I know that most of the people that use the website are using it on a phone, which means the website has to be even faster and even more efficient because cell phones usually are more limited in like their performance capabilities compared to a full-blown computer. Within the last 24 hours, 45% of the traffic was from mobile.
Wow.
39 is from desktop, and 14% is from a laptop. The rest are tablets. When the website first launched, I was basically funding it all myself. I had a really good internship that was paying me a lot of money at the time, but as the market has gotten worse, I've had to look to alternate means of making sure, the website still stays up. I won't have to worry about like storage fees or anything like that because everything is done manually. As time goes on, I will need, I guess, like funding to keep the website up, which is hence why, like, why there's a donation button.
I want this website to succeed as well, and I want it to be here as long as it can be. So like if we can get you some other type of revenues to help, that would be awesome.